Welcome back, and our hot topic, ladies, is why do we think that so many of the youth and these young kids, especially girls, are being drawn to this ISIS faction and to this terrorist faction?
It's pretty scary, isn't it?
Yes.
I just recently saw an article about two young girls, I think they were both 17, that rejected their family and said, we believe in this group, and they shipped overseas. They left their parents and home.
She wants to come home.
And now they, at 17, they've been married off.
Mm-hmm.
They're both pregnant, and they are begging to be let to come home because what they thought their life was going to be over there is not.
Mm-hmm. And what was shocking, Roberta, excuse me for interrupting, but what was shocking was that they were allowed, this one girl was allowed to talk to her parents, because that's basically taboo, the
but
isolation.
It's almost a taunting. To me, that's almost...
to let them hear the voice and the love.
Because those two girls apparently were used as poster child, poster children for recruiting other people, and they were shown, they thought that was really cool. Well, the reality of their life now over there is very different.
They're seeing reality. They were deceived, and we don't know how to discern between good and evil sometimes. And everybody wants to belong. And maybe these two girls didn't feel like they really belonged here or at home or whatever the reason, we don't know. Right. But normally that's how I see a little bit. They want to belong somewhere, and they thought, oh, this will be it. It's like people with gangs. They go into gangs because they lost something at home. They didn't have something tangible to hold on to, and the gangs make them feel like a person that belongs. They have something to offer, and that's what they thought they were getting into.
Right. It's just like this kid that was in the service that deserted, and it was because his family and he as well were reading about these factions and whatever, and he was getting very disenchanted with his country, and so most of the people around him that were able to witness him, he just said, I'm done, I'm finished, and I go. And then he got captured by the enemy, and then of course we bartered, which we said we would never do, letting the guys from Gitmo go, the top 4 or 5 guys there, for this kid here. And the soldiers that are with him are saying, wait a minute, he spoke against the United States. He doesn't want to be here. He wants to be with them. So here we go again. And now these two girls are getting a reality check because they're listening to the emotion in their parents' voices. They're remembering their homes and whatever. These girls will never see the United States again. I doubt it very much. Look at the young lady that was shot in the head, and she just got the Nobel Peace Prize. From the Middle East. I mean, can you imagine the courage? This kid here,
Malala.
Malala.
Yeah.
This kid here, I mean, I've got her on not only...
And she was, 12 at the time?
Yes,
I think she was 12.
13. This kid here's got, she is an idol to me,
too.
For what she's gone through. And so tough, she's just not backing back.
Standing up for the education of women.
Yeah.
And
they're still they still want to hunt her down.
Oh, yeah.
And you see so many of these women from the Middle East on different talk shows and saying, you people just don't get it here. You don't get it.
I was real surprised. I work with a lot of people all over the world, and I got a call from a lady in Pakistan. She's actually a pastor of a church.
I'll be darned.
I was blown away. I thought, that's
Wow.
weird. And she wants me to actually do a Skype service for her church congregation.
Amazing.
I was, you know what? Things are changing, okay? It's very slow, but things are changing over there. But the thing is, there's still a need. People are still wanting to fit in, and that's why they're going to these weird, camps or whatever it is that they want to go to, thinking they're going to make a difference or be something special.
Right. Right. It's you can say what you want. We have the freedom to speak out against our government and what we don't like about it, and the changes that we would like to see.
It's not
perfect. It is our right. When you cross that line, you make threats, or you try to get into the White House or whatever. Well, then you've got that's a different color of an animal there. But the thing is that we have so many freedoms here. What makes you think that you can go to another country and even achieve or obtain any semblance
no real
of freedom?
Understanding
That's right.
how different our country really is. That is why people still want to
come here.
We aren't perfect by any stretch of the imagination.
We're still growing.
but we still have more freedoms than most countries around the world.
My husband will not go on a trip with me. He goes, why would I want to go to another country that they're trying to run here to get out of?
Yeah.
And I go, oh, that makes total sense, you know?
Yeah, I totally get it, and I think that because of all the things that we're facing today, between this Ebola scare and the terrorist out there and everything else that's going on, I think that a lot of people now are going to choose to stay home. You're not going to see people flying or taking rapid, any type of a transit.
I have a trip scheduled in November, and it makes me think.
Yeah.
It does. My
Well,
husband
I
had to
think-
fly
Again,
to
we can't go
Florida.
by fear again. We have to
No,
go
we
by
can't.
faith, but
Right.
still
But
we
I
need to
think
use
by
wisdom.
them, things.
But
should
it's
be-
interesting,
Yeah.
it does go
But you
through
don't
But
know.
stop and think about economically what this
That
might
impact
do.
us, yeah.
What this might do to our country.
Well, 9/11 did the same thing.
Absolutely.
I have to fly 4 different places just to get to Alaska. It takes me 19 hours almost to get to Alaska on a 5-hour trip since 9/11
Yeah.
because of the cut down of all
Right.
the
But
travels.
you know what the thing is
It's
that,
crazy.
of course, 9/11 was one thing. This is a medical thing, and it can just, yeah, and it's
still a-
very dangerous. But the thing is that we have to learn that there's going to be answers, okay, to our questions. We will overcome this as other things that we have overcome,
Yeah.
and we cannot allow fear
That's right.
to control our
right.
lives. We have to control the fear, and I think that once we get into that mindset, and this will happen, CDC will come up with something, and already the one man that was infected and cured, and the other woman, they're giving
blood
Yeah.
to the
there
two-
you go.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
maybe out of something so horrific and negative, we might find an answer to a
Absolutely.
lot of things. We're going to have an answer to this. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back to wrap.
Just Between Us, a spontaneous, intuitive live television show with topics that are intended to inspire, delight, educate,